Hello, everyone. My name is Vervin. Welcome to the November 7th, 2022 episode of the Bullshit Podcast. We are back streaming now on Twitch because, fucking. What was I going to say? Sorry, I read chat for a moment and I was distracted. Oh, yeah. Welcome back to the Bullshit Podcast. We're back on Twitch now. Pretty much almost all my streaming will be on Twitch yet again because YouTube has a quality issue. When I was hyping up going to YouTube to stream, I realized that from an outside perspective, meaning if you haven't been streaming on YouTube, it looks good enough. You know what I mean? The only thing that could use some proper work done on it is the fucking chat, right? But as I started streaming, I noticed that the YouTube stream quality is really bad. I went back and tried to save a video of something I did in 5M, and it was bad. We're talking it was only at 360p when I was streaming with over 6,000. Okay, the stream quality of what it is right now, which will translate over to the video quality, I think. The quality that you're seeing right now is the same settings as I was streaming over on YouTube. The same exact settings. Just for some reason, YouTube compressed it like a motherfucker. Whereas Twitch just kind of lets the stream flow freely, it seems, or something. I don't know. Either way, Twitch doesn't seem to have as much compression, or no compression at all. Whereas YouTube, that bitch was compressed down to 360p for no reason. And all I did was clip straight from the VOD. It was bad. But anyways, without further ado, let's get into the first topic here. The first topic for today is going to be, in my opinion, the more accessible you make a single-player game, the better. Right? Because if it's a single-player experience game, the more accessible you make it to more people, the better, because you get more people playing your game and you don't necessarily have to worry about multiplayer balancing. God of War Ragnarok is out next week, and ahead of the game's release, developer Santa Monica Studio has revealed more than 70 accessibility features in the game. PlayStation has been pushing the importance of accessibility in gaming more and more with each new release, and Ragnarok is no different. The studio has been quite open with its accessibility desires, detailing more than 60 in a blog post earlier this year. Now with the game out on November 9th, the studio has released an even more detailed post breaking down exactly what to expect. Santa Monica Studio says there are more than 70 features in Ragnarok that, quote, enable players to customize gameplay experience to suit their needs, and the list is a sight to behold. It includes plenty of presets too, which could make it easier for players to get the game started in a way that makes the experience better for them. Presets include one for vision accessibility, hearing accessibility, motion reduction, apply motor accessibility, and a change setting indicator as well. There are alternative control schemes, remappable buttons, hold and press options, in-game assistance settings, and so much more. If you're interested in what accessibility features are in Ragnarok, be sure to check out the full blog post, which you can on Game Informer if you're interested. But honestly, I think it's a fucking great thing. Now, if you have a multiplayer game like Call of Duty multiplayer and more competitive games, I can see accessibility options being a bit of a handicap. For example, we already have huge discrepancies of people bitching and complaining about mouse and keyboard versus controllers with aim assist. Oh my god, mouse and keyboard people scream about aim assist. They're like, aim assist is a fucking aimbot. It's like, bro, just chill. The whole point of aim assist is that the controller can't do the fine motor adjustments that you can with a mouse. That's the whole point of it. Yes, it can be kind of strong occasionally in some specific circumstances, but if you're nitpicking those very minor... for example, right? The only time a controller helps you is when you are, quick rushing in multiplayer. I feel like that's the only time when aim assist is, super powerful. If you're playing Warzone and you're sniping or trying to get these really long range laser shots, bro, that aim assist ain't activating and that shit ain't helping you. That controller ain't helping you, bro. Like, it's just not. Aim assist has a distance at which it takes effect, and a lot of people cry for no fucking reason. I just don't understand it. But it is good that in a single player game where it's all about just the player and the game, and like it's just you and the game and you're experiencing what the game is putting out, like a Red Dead Redemption 2 single player or Forza Horizon 5 or like God of War, like all these single player games, Jedi Fallen Order, right? Like it's good for those games to have as many accessibility options as possible. So in that way anybody with any disability can pick up the game and enjoy it. And I'm super about that. Anyway, moving on to our second topic. This genuinely kind of made me sad, and I think she did an outstanding job with Modern Warfare 2019. She, being Sarah Schachner, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say her last name. It's Schachner. Schachner. I'm going to say Schachner, but I'm sorry if that's wrong. The composer for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Sarah Schachner, has revealed that she has parted ways with the game and the free-to-play battle royale Call of Duty Warzone, and then in parentheses it says, and likely the upcoming Warzone 2. As for why, she says the working dynamic with the game's audio director has become difficult, and she sees no path forward. Variety reports that the audio director in question is Stephen Miller, but Schachner doesn't name this person in her announcement. News of her departure comes from a statement released by Schachner on Twitter on November 3rd, as reported by Video Games Chronicle. Schachner's departure comes after years of work with Modern Warfare 2 studio Infinity Ward on games like 2019's Modern Warfare and 2016's Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Other credits include Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Anthem, as noted by VGC. Her quote reads, "I'm sad to say I can no longer continue to compose music for Modern Warfare 2 / Warzone. Over the past couple of months, the working dynamic with the audio director has become increasingly challenging, and I don't see any path forward. As of now, I'm unsure the status and release plan for the soundtrack, as it was taken out of my hands. While I don't have any control over how the music is presented in game, what will be released on the soundtrack is not my artistic intent in regards to mixing and mastering." She then thanks the fans for her support and gives some shout outs to others involved in the game's score, including mixer Frank Wolf, creative vision Mike Dean, and performing artists including Bazek, Brain Mantia, and MB Gordy. So the reason why, so I mentioned in the tagline for this, just genuinely kind of made me sad. This does make me sad. Sarah Schachner or Schachner, I don't know how to say her name. Schachner. Sarah Schachner did a fucking amazing job with Modern Warfare 2019. Keep in mind, Sarah Schachner is the brain behind literally all of Modern Warfare 2019 soundtrack. Like, bro, I'm not gonna play the whole thing because copyright, but this theme right here, this one here, sorry, I'm gonna, oh, I can't switch off of the thing. Let me change my window capture real quick. This song right here, Piccadilly Circus, this masterpiece, this fucking piece of the soundtrack, bro, fucking Piccadilly Circus, this absolute fucking masterpiece of a piece of soundtrack. This is literally like the most popular COD theme since like the Black Ops 2 multiplayer theme called like Ignition or whatever it's called. You're telling me that this iconic fucking cinematic masterpiece of track is not some amazing work? I literally have the Modern Warfare original soundtrack saved on Spotify because I genuinely listen to it. Like when I'm playing like Arma and shit, when I'm playing Arma with the homies and shit, I will cue up this soundtrack. It is a good ass fucking soundtrack, dude. It is an amazing soundtrack. And it's weird because I could almost tell without knowing, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not saying that I'm some nerd that like can instantly suss out when, you know, a track was made or wasn't made by somebody, but I could tell that she was behind what I was hearing, but that there was something wrong, because Infinite Warfare's soundtrack, from what I remember, now granted I don't listen to it as religiously as Modern Warfare 2019's, but Infinite Warfare's soundtrack, as far as I remember, is like was really good, right? It was definitely instrumental in part of what made that campaign so good. Infinite Warfare, terrible fucking multiplayer game. I do think that Infinite Warfare's multiplayer was a little bit better than Black Ops 3's, but ultimately I think that Infinite Warfare's multiplayer was still, because it was advanced movement based, it was a terrible fucking multiplayer. But the campaign? Infinite Warfare's campaign, as much as that game got hate just because it had exosuits and advanced movement and people were sick of it, the campaign to that game is fucking phenomenal. Like, if Infinite Warfare ever went on sale on, like, Steam or something for, like, $20, I would pick it up just to do a Let's Play of the campaign. The campaign to that game was genuinely good, and I really enjoyed it. But and then she made fucking Modern Warfare 2019 soundtrack, which is just fucking amazing. And then now she has to depart because people weren't letting her work her magic, man, and it really sucks. She did an amazing job with Modern Warfare 2019 soundtrack, and I'm very sad that she's leaving because she was she literally, if I were like a really popular content creator and I made like Ludwig or XQC levels of money, I would fucking pay her to make me a fucking theme song. Or like I would legitimately pay her to make me a track that I could use if I stream the like Arma Zombie campaign. She is an amazing fucking composer, and I'm upset that they didn't let her work her magic. So anyways, enough talking about Call of Duty. Moving on to our third topic for the podcast. A Hideo Kojima conspiracy theory? Well, apparently, there was a conspiracy theory revolving around him and Blue Box Game Studios Abandoned, and in short, it's a nuisance for him, unsurprisingly. Abandoned was announced with a short teaser back in 2021 as a game being developed for PlayStation 5 and PC. Not long after the reveal, speculation that Abandoned was actually a Silent Hill game secretly in development began to ramp up, but studio head Hisan Karaman took to Twitter to shut down those rumors. From there, the speculation train arrived at the idea that famed Metal Gear Solid developer Hideo Kojima was attached to the game. Some believe that Kojima was actually Karaman on the basis that both of their first names start with H, and both of their last names start with K. Plus, people thought Blue Box was meant to tie into BB from Death Stranding. There was plenty more speculation attempting to tie Kojima to Abandoned, but in the end, it was nothing. As of April this year, Blue Box says Abandoned is not canceled and is still in development. Throughout all of these rumors, Kojima has remained silent on the issue. However, a new episode of his Spotify podcast, Brain Structure, he has broken his silence, calling it a nuisance as reported by VGC. He said, users kept sending me pictures of this Hassan. They still send me colleagues and deepfake. They still send me collages and deepfake images like 20 a day, and it's quite a nuisance. He later says, I've never spoken with Hassan. The game has yet to be released. I don't think there's much he can do or say at this point. If he releases the game, people might understand, so maybe he should just hurry up and release it. And then you have it. If this speculation wasn't cleared up for you before, it certainly is as of now. As for what Kojima is working on, it's not a superhero video game, although he was workshopping something like that before he canceled it after realizing it was too similar to Amazon Studios' The Boys. Whatever he was working on, though, it will feature Ellie Fanning, Shiloi Katsuna. It is unclear if they will be in the Death Stranding sequel or something else. So, yeah. Apparently there's a game by Blue Box called Abandoned, and people were like, you know, because of what he did with like his Metal Gear releases, like especially the Metal Gear Solid 5 pre-release stuff, people were saying like, oh, it's just another one of these like weird conspiracy releases where he's like, oh, I'm not actually involved with this at all, and then he, you know, attends a panel looking like somebody else, and you know, kind of like what he did with the Ishmael Head thing, you know, back when Metal Gear Solid 5 was coming out. So it's interesting that the fans were kind of putting something together, and Kojima said that it's not him. Now, what would be really funny is if it is him and he just absolutely trolled the shit out of everyone. That'd be really funny. But moving on to our fourth topic for today. The Last of Us TV show? Well, ladies and gentlemen, The Last of Us TV series will premiere in a little over 2 months if HBO's page for the show is any indication. HBO Max subscribers began to notice that on the page for The Last of Us series on HBO, a description of the show says it premieres January 15th, as reported to Eurogamer. The publication reports say that only US subscribers are seeing this January 15th premiere date in the show's description, so I opened up the HBO Max app on my phone to check it, and sure enough, it's there. So yeah, it does say premieres January 15th. A preview of the post-apocalyptic drama series based on the critically acclaimed video game The Last of Us Season 1 sneak peek's description reads premieres January 15th. This lines up with what's expected of an HBO series too, as the subscription services shows are not usually dropped in bulk like on Netflix. Instead, HBO sticks to the weekly release with release popularized with standard television, and that the description says that the show will simply premieres January 15th, which means new episodes of The Last of Us will likely release each week. January 15th is also a Sunday, and episodes for HBO's biggest shows typically released on Sunday evenings, like House of the Dragon. My money's on new episodes of this show dropping each Sunday for however many weeks at 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Only time will tell, but fortunately we don't have to wait too much longer now if HBO's description is correct. So that was the original story that Game Informer had. It seemed like it's premiering January 15th. So basically, Naughty Dog didn't announce when the show was coming out yet, but I guess HBO Max updated the description to show when it was coming out. And so I guess that was either an error or they purposely did that to be like keen-eyed people. One will know when it's coming out first or whatever. But we have an update from November 2nd of this story. Naughty Dog has confirmed that Last of Us will indeed premiere on HBO Max on January 15th. Check out the show's poster below, which we will take a quick look at. This is what the... Sorry, hold on. For some reason, it's not showing me. There we go. This is what the tweet was. So Naughty Dog tweeted, "You have no idea what loss is. Last of Us premieres January 15th on HBO Max, The Last of Us." I did not mean to go to that tweet. So yeah, there you go. That's stop. That's the so there you go. They posted the poster here, which we'll take a look at real quick. So there you go. An HBO original, which is not the case because the game was the original, but yeah, we're gonna see, apparently the person who is making it says from the award-winning creator of Chernobyl, based on the acclaimed video game. So, there you go. The Last of Us, TV show. I did like the first Last of Us, but I didn't like Last of Us 2. I never played Last of Us 2, but I don't like Last of Us 2. Because they kind of fucked it. They kind of dropped the ball. I don't think that Last of Us 2 would have been received as poorly if they hadn't killed everyone's favorite character immediately at the beginning, and then you played as everyone's second favorite character for 10 minutes before having to play as the person who just killed your favorite character for 9 hours. I feel like that was where they kind of dropped the ball. I feel like the entire game would have flowed a lot better if you got to play as Ellie up until the theater, and then you actually fought her, and the whole fight happened, right? And then after the fight, there was like another, like, it would have just been better if the part of the game that was Abby's story was brought in at the end of the game, if that makes sense. Like, imagine you go all the way through the game and it's just before the epic showdown at the end, and then you like play, and it shouldn't be 9 hours either. I feel like it would have been like nice to have like an abridged version of her story near the end, just before the epic fights, and that way you really get this understanding, because you know that after she kills Joel, Naughty Dog knew the players were going to be like, oh my god, this bitch is dead. So let them get that frustration out. Let them play as Ellie, be like, oh my god, we're gonna kill this bitch, we're gonna kill this bitch, we're gonna kill this bitch. People still would have been mad if you did it just before the final bout, but I feel like it would have been more powerful if you either did it before the final bout, or you did the final fight, and you leave it, like, obligatory, like, Ellie, like, kills her, but not really, like, maybe, like, a knife or a screwdriver, whatever, comes down, bam, stabs in the water next to her, like, you have, like, a, from the water looking up at Ellie, she goes, and stabs, and then it cuts to black, and then you play Abby's story, so then that way it's, like, you almost get this feeling of, like, I just killed her, and oh fuck, now, like, I realize that, like, maybe killing her wasn't the right opinion, and then you cut back to the end and you realize, or the right option, and then you cut back to the end and realize, oh shit, she's still alive. Okay, we can still rectify this horrible situation. But yeah, no, I feel like the game was good in terms of the story it was trying to tell. It's just they did the order of the events all fucking wrong. And that was, I think, what ultimately killed it. But anyways, moving on to our fifth topic of the podcast today. PlayStation VR 2. I'm including this because I haven't really read the article. I just kind of skimmed it, and oh my god, is it a bundle of laughs just like PlayStation's Elite controller. Sony announced that PlayStation VR 2 will launch on February 22nd and has revealed its price, 2 bundles as well as accessories, and newly announced games. The standard packs will retail at $549.99. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You want a PlayStation VR 2, you gotta shovel out $600 fucking dollars. The VR 2 is just buying a PlayStation 5 again. You have to essentially buy 2 PlayStation 5s just to play VR on PlayStation. Fucking awful. It includes the headset, 2 PS VR 2 Sense controllers, and stereo headphones. Check out the box below. Wow, look at that. It just looks like an Oculus. It looks like a, like, 4 to 5 year out of date Oculus headset. And it's $600, almost, it's $550. Almost $600. Woo! If you want something to play out of the box, the PlayStation VR 2 Horizon Call of the Mountain bundle has you covered. This edition runs for $599.99, so actually $600, and tosses in a digital code for the first-person Horizon spin-off on top of everything else that comes with the standard package. Want to change your controllers without using your PS5's USB ports? Feast your eyes on the PlayStation VR 2 Series controller charging station for another $50. This separate dock replenishes your VR gamepads by simply clicking them into the base without ever need to connect to a console. Sony states pre-orders go live on November 15th. During the launch phase, the only place to pre-order will be through the online store at direct.playstation.com for the US, UK, France, Germany, Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg. You can register to pre-order beginning today. Today being when this article was written, which was November 2nd. So as of November 2nd, you can register to pre-order. And orders made through the online store will be shipped during launch week. Meanwhile, customers in other markets will have to reserve PS VR 2 at local retailers. In addition, 11 new PS VR 2 titles have been unveiled. You can read about each one in detail on the PlayStation blog, but here's a brief description of each and their release windows. Game called After the Fall, a post-apocalyptic co-op shooter by the studio behind Arizona Sunshine 2023. Cities VR Enhanced Edition, an improved version of the VR edition of Cities Skylines, coming February 22nd. Cosmonious High, restore an alien school in this wacky adventure title from the makers of Job Simulator 2023. So it's just like another like job simulator game, or made by the same people. Crossfire Sierra Squad, a VR first-person shooter in the Crossfire franchise. That's going to be 2023. The Dark Pictures Switchback VR, a roller coaster VR horror action shooter by Supermassive Games 2023. Hello Neighbor Search and Rescue, team with friends to free a captive friend in this VR take on Hello Neighbor. That's in 2023. Because we all know that Hello Neighbor is a flawless masterpiece with no glitches whatsoever, and a VR game definitely won't be the same. Jurassic World Aftermath Collection, an enhanced bundle of parts 1 and 2 of the Jurassic Park survival action game 2023. The Light Brigade, a roguelike first-person shooter with procedurally generated levels 2023. Pistol Whip, the acclaimed rhythm action game, is enhanced for PSVR 2 and will be a free upgrade to existing owners 2023. Tentacular, solving physics-based puzzles as a giant adorable kraken, 2023, and Zenith: The Last City, a VR MMORPG for February 22nd. As a reminder, PSVR 2 is not backwards compatible with original PSVR games, hence why some PSVR titles are getting new enhanced ports. We went hands-on with PlayStation VR 2 in September, and you can read our comprehensive impressions of the tech, some of its titles, including Horizon Call of the Mountain and Resident Evil Village, and more here. I'm just going to take a quick skim of their review and see if it's actually, like... Okay, so this is less of a review and just them saying, hey, it's really great, because Sony paid me a lot of money to say it's really great. Okay, cool. I just took a quick skim over it. It's a long article. I skimmed over the first half, like, very quickly, and I didn't see anything, like, negative being said. It was like, wow was the first thing I said, and then later on they're like, it has this amazing this by this display with this amount of FPS. It sounds like an ad. It doesn't sound like an actual review. But yeah, so that's interesting. PlayStation VR coming out with a $550 fucking headset. And then for an additional... Or no, I'm sorry. If you want the headset, it's $550. If you want the headset with a game, it's $600. And then if you want to be able to charge your controllers without using a cord, you have to pay an additional $60. Wow, that's crazy. Anyway, moving on to our sixth topic. That doesn't sound like an absolute shill. And this one, I'm genuinely excited about because, ladies and gentlemen, we have Atomic Heart news. Let's go! Atomic Heart. If you guys don't remember, it is a game that I kind of showed off on the podcast a little while ago. It's like a technologically dystopian future version of like Soviet Russia, and it's like kind of a crazy fucking thing. So there you go. Atomic Heart, the Bioshock-esque shooter set in an alternate reality Soviet Union, will be released this February. More specifically, the game will hit PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, and PC on February 21st, 2023. Developer Mundfish, I like that word, Mundfish, and publisher Focus Entertainment announced this news in a new and bloody gameplay trailer showcasing more of what to expect in the game early next year. We're not going to watch the trailer, but because they said bloody, and let me tell you, unless I'm actually playing the game, I don't think that Twitch would like that. Atomic Heart continues to look great in trailers, but I can't wait to finally go hands-on with it in just 4 months, especially as a fan of Bioshock. This is the writer of the article, by the way, because I've never played a Bioshock game. While Atomic Heart is doing its own thing, it's hard not to compare it to the Bioshock series, given the whole alternate reality thing, the types of guns on display here, the enemies we'll be facing, and the hand-controlled powers. Atomic Heart was revealed years ago. I think, like, 2018, I think, was when it was first revealed. And there are plenty more trailers to watch if you're interested. There's a 2020 gameplay trailer for an early look at the game. There's the 2021 trailer for a look at the creepier side. And for an additional information, check out Mundfish's official website about the game. So yeah, it's coming out February, boys. This February, somebody needs to donate me $60 so that I can buy this game. When this February rolls around, somebody needs to donate me money to get this game. Please. It will be it'll be so much fun. I can't wait to... I really want to play fucking Atomic Heart. It looks like such a good game. Ladies and gentlemen, now getting into our seventh and final gaming topic for today. There's some news about some new Game Pass games coming out. Use the Forks Luke will be looking forward to some of these Game Pass games for sure. Do you smell the autumn leaves and the faint smell of turkey in the air? It's November and the start of a new month, which means one thing. A new batch of Xbox Game Pass games. Yes, because that's what everybody thinks of when Thanksgiving time rolls around, is Xbox Game Pass games. Perhaps the biggest title is the debuting Somerville, the alien invasion side-scroller by the ex-Playdead CEO. Adventure game enthusiasts can dive into Return to Monkey Island, which is why I know Luke will probably be excited. I mean, he already owns the game, but he'll be excited to tell all of us about how Monkey Island will be on Game Pass, and he probably would want us all to play it because he's a huge Monkey Island fan. As well as Pentiment, the new medieval mystery title by Obsidian Entertainment. The hit PC title Vampire Survivors, which I've never heard of. I've never heard of Vampire Survivors. Also makes its console debut on Xbox this month. See what's coming and what's leaving Game Pass below, and check out our reviews for applicable titles. So what's coming? Me in like 20 minutes. Ooh, because I'm gonna watch Bleach. The Legend of Tianding. The Walking Dead: A New Frontier, the complete season. Walking Dead Michonne, the complete season. Ghost Song, Football Manager 2023, and Football Manager 2023 console. Return to Monkey Island, Vampire Survivors, Pentiment, and Somerville. And then what's leaving Xbox Game Pass, since Football Manager 2023 and 2023 console are joining Game Pass, that means that Football Manager 2022 and 2022 Xbox Edition are leaving. Art of Rally is leaving. Fae Tactics is leaving. Next Space Rebel is leaving. One Step from Eden is leaving. And Supraland is leaving Game Pass. So there you go. Some games joining Game Pass and some games leaving Game Pass. And we're going to move on to our 8th topic and second to last topic for the day, because that was gaming. Now we're moving on to real life oddity topics. So our 8th topic is going to be the next heist movie. The next big heist movie should be about this place, ladies and gentlemen. The ordinary brown brick building tucked within a nondescript block on a street in Delaware would probably not garner much attention if it weren't for the razor wire and armed guards outside. Hints that something important lay inside, possibly even precious. It is not Fort Knox, but the stash of collectibles the building holds is undoubtedly worthy of guarding. There's a rare Pikachu card and a century-old one of baseball great Horace Wagner, which recently sold for $7.25 million in a private sale. In addition to the trading cards, there are also baseball bats and basketball shoes, including a pair of sneakers worn and signed by the late NBA great Kobe Bryant. In all, $200 million in collectibles are stored in 2 vaults inside of the building, equipped with some of the latest technology to keep the valuable cash safe from harm or thieves. A lot of people don't keep jewelry at their house, they keep it in a safety deposit box, maybe at a secure bank, said Ross Hoffman, the chief executive officer at Golden Co., a division of industry giant Collectors, which operates the Vault, a high-security facility specializing in protecting collectibles. The building has no signage, and the company asked that any hint of its location not be divulged. Inside is a technologically advanced facility with a guarded vault, equipped with seismic motion detectors that will sound the alarm anyone try to jackhammer through walls. To move from room to room, a security guard ushers you through a card-activated double-door entryway, letting the first door close before passing through the next. There are surveillance cameras everywhere. Behind one of two 7,500-pound or 3,400-kilogram vault doors, each more than a foot thick, are rows of shelves that extend to the building's rafters, rows upon rows of boxes that are filled with collector's items, including some with relatively little monetary worth, but that represent sentimental value for their owners or that could someday be worth much more. Hoffman called the facility a painkiller. There's pain of things getting lost, there's pain in the things getting stolen, Hoffman said. Interest in sports collectibles and memorabilia has boomed in recent years, not just high-ticket items, but also for rediscovered pieces that have been tucked away in attics or in basements. In August, a mint-condition Mickey Mantle baseball card sold for $12.6 million, surpassing the $9.3 million paid for the jersey worn by Diego Maradona when he scored the contentious Hand of God goal in 1986's World Cup. A lot of times people have collectibles for the bragging rights to show it to other people so they can go ooh and ah, said Steven Fischler, founder of Comic Connect, who has watched the growing rise and profitability of collectibles being traded across auction houses. But some people don't want the burden of being responsible for securing their property, which they view as investments akin to stocks, Fischler said. These storage facilities help better liquefy collectibles by treating them as assets that can be more easily bought and sold. Where was I? Hoffman, whose parent company also runs one of the leading grading and authenticating services, said his newest venture is an acknowledgement of the big money now involved in collectibles. Before the pandemic, the sports memorabilia market was estimated at more than $5.4 billion, according to 2018 Forbes interview with David Yokin, the founder of Collectible.com. By 2021, so post-pandemic, that market had grown to 26 billion. So it went from 5.4 billion pre-pandemic to 26 billion post-pandemic, according to the research firm Market Decipher, which predicts the market will grow astronomically to 227 billion within a decade, partly fueled by the rise of so-called NFTs, or non-fungible tokens, which are digital collectibles with unique data encrypted fingerprints. While digitized NFTs don't require vaults for safekeeping, the trade in physical collectibles is expected to remain busy and lucrative. For a lot of people that buy cards, they have an intention of selling it, Hoffman said, so to keep it liquid and safe is a great thing. So, wow. I can't believe that COVID itself, the pandemic, made it grow from fucking 5.4 billion to fucking 26 billion. That's insane. And then this motherfucker is saying that within a decade it could be at 227 billion, which I don't think it'll get to. I'm not no expert in these fucking stocks and whatnot and like sports memorabilia and shit, but sports memorabilia collectively being 227 billion, I don't see that. I could definitely see it getting to like maybe, because the pandemic, so in the course of a few years it went from 5.4 billion to 26 billion. I could see it getting to like maybe 80 billion within the decade, but maybe even 100 billion. But $227 billion, I don't know, man. That's kind of a huge checkup. Hey, what's up, Neo? Thanks for coming into the podcast, man. That is insane. I don't think it'll get to 227 billion. I think it might get to like 100, 105, 110 maybe tops billion within a decade. Then again, I'm not like a data analyst who's like an expert on fucking sports memorabilia, so I have no clue, but that is insane. Alright, so I'm not going to play this video, but I will show some things off. So here's what the entrance to this place looks like. It's like a security thing with like some gates and shit. And then these are the shelves that they were talking about. So they have just shelves from the floor to the rafters of just a bunch of collectible shit in these boxes. And then here is an example of one of the doors. One of these like giant fucking, you know, thick doors that are like vault doors. That's insane, dude. Wow. They definitely need to make a heist movie on that place. Or maybe not that place, but like something similar. Like, I feel like a good, like, hit heist movie in another, like, 20 years is gonna be, like, we broke into the biggest sports memorabilia storage facility and stole all the sports memorabilia, and then we sold it through backdoor liquidation and got $300 million. Some shit like that. That'd be a cool heist movie. But we're moving on to our 9th and final topic for the stream. Now, before I move on to the final topic, I just want to point out that when I read this final topic and after I'm done chatting about this topic, I will be ending the stream. However, the stream is going to be offline for like about an hour probably, and then I'm probably going to be going live playing some like COD or 5M. So this stream will be over, but I'm not done streaming for the day, so keep an eye out on a stream in like an hour or so from when this one goes live. But anyway, moving on to our 9th topic. I think this is the most Kentucky thing I've ever heard or read. So, ladies and gentlemen, our final topic comes out of Paducah, Kentucky. Kentucky officials on Friday warned motorists to avoid a portion of U.S. Highway 62 where chicken offal spilled along the roadway. The Calvert City Fire Department is attempting to wash the waste material off the roadway, the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet wrote in a Facebook post Friday morning. KYTC Marshall County Maintenance will apply salt to the roadway to enhance traction and cut through the slick, smelly coating on the pavement. The spill was just east of the Interstate 24 Calvert City exit, according to the post. To avoid the smell and getting chicken waste on your vehicle, you should avoid this area, the post reads. So there you go. Just a bunch of fucking chicken offal. What is offal again? I think I know what I think I know what offal is, but I'll just double check. Yeah. So it's just a bunch of chicken organs. Just went fucking all over the fucking roadway. And I guess just don't drive that way. This was posted November 4th, so I'm assuming it's cleaned up by now, but wow. That's the most Kentucky thing ever. Hey, avoid this part of this freeway because we spilled a bunch of fucking chicken guts everywhere. Why is that the most Kentucky thing ever? Here, I'm gonna message... Hold on, doesn't First live in Kentucky, like actually in real life? Welcome to a live VC joining during the podcast. Hi.
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 I pelted my husband with a snowball the first summer, or the first winter I lived in Canada.
Nice. Really quick. I'm joining mid podcast. Is First from Kentucky? Or no? I can't remember if he is
lived
actually.
in Kentucky previously.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that is his state of origin.
Oh, okay.
But he's also lived in like Georgia and I think a couple other states.
Well, the reason why I was asking is because my final topic that I covered is out of Kentucky, and it's one of the most Kentucky things ever. Apparently, Kentucky officials told motorists to avoid a portion of U.S. Highway 62 because apparently a big old truck carrying a bunch of chicken guts spilled them everywhere. And that is the most Kentucky thing ever. It's like, hey, don't drive on this portion of the highway because we accidentally spilled chicken guts everywhere. That is one of the most Kentucky things I've ever read.
Do you know about the Great Maple Syrup heist?
One way.
The whatty who now?
In Canada, several years ago, there was a heist from a train of maple syrup.
Damn.
It wasn't on a train.
Was it a tanker?
No, there's in the province of Quebec, the world's largest provider or creator of maple syrup. There's a thing called I think it's the Sûreté de Quebec. It's like the sugar. It's the Maple Syrup Federation, and
the Maple Syrup Federation.
They have a Fort Knox, so to speak, of maple syrup, where they store everybody's syrup, and on a year when they make a lot, they keep the stock. You know what I mean? And when for a year when they don't have enough product, they can release it, and it maintains the property because maple syrup's value is insanely high for a liquid of its size. Anyways, so these guys got the idea to rob this maple syrup bank. They got in, replaced the barrels with water, and got away with tens of millions of dollars of maple syrup. Sold it on the, believe it or not, maple syrup black market, which exists.
So what you're telling me is that somebody did a real life Oceans movie, but it was like Oceans syrup.
Correct.
It was like Oceans Canada.
Yeah. Oceans 11, Oceans 12. No, Oceans Canada.
Except they did it like on a snowmobile in a cut-off flannel shirt while drinking beer using a beat-up old farm truck.
What's a Canadian beer that they could have been drinking?
The original Blue. 16.
They were drinking Blue for sure.
Oh god.
Labatt Blue, definitely.
Okay.
Labatt, oh god.
And the only reason they got caught is because someone went in to inspect it, and the barrels were sweating, like there was condensation on them. And he was like, why do these things have condensation on them? Maple syrup doesn't do that. And he opened it up and tasted inside, it was water. And it was a big scandal. And it turned out that this guy, who used to be a member of the Federation of Maple Syrup, was the black market dealer who went around the world selling a bunch of maple syrup.
About maple syrup?
and I really want to make a movie about
Well,
it.
that is.
We're talking
Yeah,
about the great
the
maple
most
syrup
Canadian.
heist.
Most
yeah.
Canadian thing
it's
ever.
it's funny that
Wasn't
you.
it like
It's funny that you
$26
said that
million
as well.
worth of maple syrup or something?
It's funny that you say that because I did actually also cover a topic talking about like a sports collectible vault that's in fucking Delaware, and I was like,
Yeah, I watched
somebody needs to make like a heist movie about the sports memorabilia collection vault in Delaware. All right, I'm gonna mute and deafen real quick so I can wrap this up. Alrighty, well, thank you everybody so much for watching the November 7th, 2022 edition of the Bullshit Podcast. Appreciate everyone who came out and hung out. Some pretty crazy topics. I'm gonna have to confer with First later how Kentucky that is, or if he knows where that spill occurred. I don't think he lives in Kentucky, but I think he did live in Kentucky at one point. Like they said. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you. Be sure to stay tuned to my Discord and Twitter for the announcement of another stream coming a little bit later, like in about an hour or two or so. And yeah, this has been Verve, the November 7th, 2022 episode of the podcast. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next Monday. Bye-bye.